Have you ever asked yourself after a bad game, what am I missing? Or sought help from impatient friends? Or browsed desperately for answers that only bring up more questions? Your self-doubting days are over with Discovery, the first game-focused AI. Discovery is trained on the world's leading esports athletes to be your everyday personal coach. That's right, Discovery can help you improve your gameplay by giving you tips and strategies to take your game to the next level. Get started at aimlabs.com/discovery.
Red Bull gives you wings. Red Bull gives you wings.
Welcome back to the VCT Last Chance Qualifier. I'm standing here with MC. Quick question for you. Congratulations first off on the first map. You mentioned yesterday that you had to reinstall RuneScape there for a leaf to pop off. What did you and Cooper do to get the rest of the team to pop off for today's match against Crew?
I think a big part of it is we've been taking our break seriously, and then practice we've kind of backed off on a little bit to give the guys a little bit of time to mentally recover and emotionally recover after not making Tokyo. But I think the biggest thing is just trying to keep vibes up inside the team. And then going over a game plan, what we're going to do, and then sticking to that and making it work.
Awesome. Well, MC, good luck on Pearl. Let's toss it back to the desk at a GB.
Thank you so much for that, Silly. Appreciate you, buddy. And, of course, always great to hear from MC as well here at Golden Boy alongside Baby Wyatt and Sean Garrison. Just break everything down. And, I mean, really, when you talk about breaking it down, we're breaking down utter dominance from Cloud9, Baby, because that was just utterly absurd, the way that they approached the game. And you heard it there in the interview, saying he gave the players time to mentally reset, refocus on what's the task at hand. And it truly feels like this team is here to play.
Yeah, I mean, they're all showing up right now. I think there's clutches across the board from every player.
Yeah.
Leaf is doing a phenomenal job getting those entries in there. And man, it was just an absolute breakdown.
Yeah, it really was. As we take a look at some of the highlights from that game there, Wyatt, I mean, every player on Cloud9 was contributing. This wasn't a one-person show, right? But that being said, it feels as if this is a team that's coming in with an even more renewed vigor, especially after dropping that Sentinels game yesterday. It feels like they just want to get to the finals ASAP.
Yeah, when you're watching Cloud9 execute their game plan perfectly, making all of the players look impeccable, dominating Crew who look like the contender to make champions to win this tournament. Can anyone stop them at this point, Sean? I mean, did they do anything wrong in this game?
They lost the opening pistol. And
how dare they?
Imagine if they would have won that pistol. Just imagine. Or even the eco where it was down to a one-on-one right after. Every one of those clips was like perfect teamwork, right? Like the turret goes off, Leaf swings, double kills, the Omen blind comes through the wall, and they just send it B. Perfect trading, perfect spacing. Even when Jakey's running through a smoke, right? Someone's running out heaven in tandem with him at the perfect time. They are just in like the giga flow state right now. Every decision they make is perfect.
Yeah, 100%. It has been immaculate, top to bottom here. And now we want to figure out how Crew is going to stop this going into map 2. Let's hear what Adam has to say, as he's standing by with Silly.
That's right. Thank you, GB. Adam, tough loss there on that first map on Ascent. I wanted to ask you, what was the most annoying thing to deal with against Cloud9 on that first map, and how are you going to change this for map 2?
Okay, the most annoying thing from Cloud9, I think, is his pace. They're playing a really fast reaction, really intense. They're intense players. We knew that, and we talked before the match that we had to step up, that it was going to be a constant fight for us to be at the same intensity, and it was really hard for us to find that on Ascent. We are pretty sure that we can do a better performance on Pearl, and we know that we also have that pace, that intensity, and we're going to give everything we still have to close the map.
Awesome. Well, Adam, I can't wait to see it. Good luck for the second map, and let's throw it back to the desk.
Once again, thank you so much, Silly, for that. And yeah, you're hearing him, Sean, right? Talk about, we have the tenacity, we have the aggression, we could do this, So it is refreshing to hear that it's not like, oh man, we really, kind of beef that one. Instead, it sounds like there's still confidence in the Crew camp.
Yeah, there's definitely confidence, and there should be. But man, I actually do think they played well to the reactions of Cloud9, right? When there was a one-way smoke somewhere, they would cloud burst the ground to go through it. That's a good solution. There was a Viper pit, the round they tried to KO ult rush B. I mean, Cloud9 was just always one step ahead, right? They had the reaction to the reaction of Crew.
Yeah.
And that's what worries me about Pearl, because now we're going into Cloud9's comfort. This is their pick, and this is a map historically where Crew isn't all that great.
Yeah, and here's the results of what we just saw on the Heineken 0.0 Ascent. It was a stomping, to say the least. 13-4. Kesnick couldn't get anything going as the entry for them. Honestly, I don't even want to put it on him. I just feel like everyone on Crew kind of just got, figured out there, Wyatt.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're looking at the first kills. They just gave Crew a taste of their own medicine from yesterday. That's what they did to Lev to make it here, right? We've talked a lot about the Crew mental, as that was such a critical factor that they knew they had to overcome heading into LCQ. They did prove against Furia that they can drop a map and bounce back right away, though. So I'm not prepared to write them off. Pearl, heading into that, they beat Loud on it in the regular season. That's no easy feat. So I swear to God, I'm not coping, guys. I'm not coping as a Crew fan here. I don't think it's over yet.
I do think the cope for Pearl is that it's a much different map than Ascent, right? And running a Harbor Viper the way Cloud9 did yesterday, if they run that same comp, they're going to be able to get fights. There's not as many trap plays as what Cloud9 just had on Ascent. There was a lot of things for Crew to go around, like you were saying in the pregame segment, baby.
Yeah, it's a lot more open of a map. The Jet has a lot more free space to do what he wants, and I mean, we saw the stat, right? 12 first bloods to a team that has the highest success rate in 5v4s. I mean, something that Crew needs to do here is to not get first blooded as much, use the utility correctly, and not get caught off guard.
Yeah, and first bloods, obviously, you turn to the duelists. You think, who are the players that are making that happen? Players like Leaf, obviously. That leads us to our Aim Lab shoot-around as we check in on Leaf here and continues the conversation about Cloud9, because you were talking about the first bloods, talking about the impact you have to have, the freedom that the Jets will have as well. And Leaf, he's just that guy. He's playing immaculate, and I expect nothing less from this guy because of what he did throughout the season as well.
Yeah, and just look at him shoot these orbs. He's just very calm, collected. He's not rushing anything. Kind of like the game. Like, he kind of just let a lot of these kills flow straight to him. Like Sean said earlier, he's just swinging off a turret. He gets 2 instant headshots. I mean,
thinking about RuneScape.
Yeah, he's just vibing. He's farming, maybe 99
just
farming.
Wants to get his wood.
Right now, he's definitely 99 farming.
But the thing about Cloud9, though, Wyatt, is that, coming into this event, they were stats-wise the heavy favorites, but yet they themselves, they never really portray that, weirdly enough. It never feels like they even feel like they are the heavy favorites. They're taking this game by game, and it's very evident in their game plan, the way that they approach it, the dismantling that we saw on Ascent. What do you think I guess the difference here between the way that C9 are approaching a game versus the way the Crew's approaching a game as we get ready for Pearl?
I mean, I think the difference for C9, I mean, there's, on an overarching level, I think that one of the major things for C9 is that they've totally gotten out of that space that they were in, that we saw them in playoffs. I mean, this is now, I'm watching the team that I remember watching dominate all season long. That, downswing in the playoffs, they hadn't lost any games. Those new guys hadn't, it's the dumb sports phrase, hadn't learned how to lose.
Yeah.
But they got over that hump. It had to happen eventually. And it's, in a way, better that it happens soon and that they have this second chance to run it back in the form that we know they can be in.
Yeah, and then on the opposite side for that, I mean, Crew, obviously, this is a team that learned how to lose quite a bit, and yet now they find themselves in a position, very unfamiliar territory here in this LCQ, where they are looking at a potential 2-0, and here are the agents as it comes through. Sean, what do you make of this?
Yeah, so Cloud9 is running the same comp yesterday as they played against Sentinels. The Harbor Viper, Sky Solo Initiator, and Crew is going to mirror them. And that worries me a little bit because, I mean, we have seen a switch off of that in this last match. I'm not saying the comp is bad, but this is the comp Crew previously showed. And there's not a lot of new things they can throw at Cloud9, right? And Cloud9 is a prep-heavy team.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Cloud9 also, this is just a map that they've been good on for a long time, to be honest. They were one of the early...
The Phoenix comp?
Yeah, I was going to say, like, they're one of the teams that like to innovate on this map, too, when everyone else was running basically the same thing all the time. MCU was leaning into the Phoenix Sage. This is a map they've always been interested in pushing the meta on.
All right, well, we'll find out how this one plays out as we send it back over to the caster, see if we can get a third map out of this series. Doug, Balla, take it away.
Thank you so much, Golden Boy. Yeah, I think given the stomp that we just saw in Ascent, you've got to expect something more out of Crew here, because if it's anything like what we just saw, it's going to be a very short day for us.
Yeah, and I got to echo what Sean was just talking about there on the desk about Crew running the same comp. Yeah, it's been meta for quite some time, but this to me indicates that they really haven't had the chance to work on Pearl too much, because not necessarily the comp change or anything like that, but this is it's a relatively changed map, right? You have much smaller chokes, you don't have as much post-plant area to play on B. It definitely still works, don't get me wrong, but if there was ever a time to like kind of work on something slightly different, then maybe it would be now. You have to think back to the last time that Crew played this map against Loud. They did win. It was their only win on this map throughout the regular season, and it looked great, but they were playing with Davies on the bench. He had an injury at that point, so Nags was playing the KJ, and you had a much different instance here on the harbor too. Melzer had to float over to pick up that Viper.
The benefit, though, of tournaments like this is that it really just comes down to who has the hot hand. Any team can catch fire and make a run, and that's what Crew's done up until this point, but they finally met an obstacle, an opponent that seems to be able to slow them down, and it's because of things like that. They even had the nano prep for where they thought Kesnet was going to updraft onto, and it was perfect.
Yeah, delays any plant too. They will finally get it down, but they've used a lot to get to this position and see if they can actually get the kills in the back of sight. Yes, they are.
Well done by Nags and Melzer, but they need to find more. Nags' positioning there is so pretty. Just tucking barely behind that corner of the wall so you can isolate the gunfights.
And even before that, those initial volley of kills, the first two landed on Zeppa and Zelsis.
Poison's off.
That was two key people to retake in this instance. He had the Cove. That was basically their only shot now. Jake is... Yeah, he's dead.
Yeah, he's flashing dead. You're absolutely right. 3K for Nags as Crew gets a pistol. And it was often, you know, you go back to Ascent, you think about, yes, it's a different map, the comps are different, but one of the things that Cloud9 excelled in was in retakes and how they were able to just snatch the site back from Crew because of that huge 2K from Nags, and then it ultimately ended up being a 3K. They weren't able to do that. They weren't even able to make an attempt, really.
You got to remember back on Ascent, too, though, it's the same situation on the pistol, right? It was a full retake for Cloud9, exactly the same, essentially.
Yeah, that's true.
And Crew ended up taking that. And that's because Cloud9 kind of went for a little gamble here. Yeah, they had the KJ on this side, but everybody else was over towards B. And one person covering mid. Let's see if they can eco at least do a little damage like they did on that first. It's not coming through. That cascade really difficult to get through, despite this really interesting high tide out of Zelsis.
That was off the back of an early flash, too, over the top from Zeppa, but it was a Bulldog that just caused way too many problems. And now Crew in a position to potentially put Cloud9 away pretty cleanly. They do drop one weapon. How much more do they drop? A second?
He's also been low HP this entire time. Still gets two. Gonna reposition to try to get himself a third. This is something that Cloud9 is so good at, is constantly damaging. Even when they're not winning these eco rounds, constantly taking two guns down here, taking two guns down there. Keeps it much harder for Crew to actually stay in the game economically.
Well, I mean, to go back to Ascent, you remember their third round after they had won the second, they had two rifles that Crew brought in, and it was because of how much damage Cloud9 were able to deal.
So it's not quite the canceled bonus that we saw in Ascent, but still a little bit of damage done. Actually, it's gonna be Melzer as well, who only had a pistol in that round, so it's not even the biggest of deals. They're able to carry everything. See, the initial fight is, well, that's a great shot from Klaus through the high tide of his teammate Melzer. There's a big bonus here. Crew need to get the momentum swinging back. Remember, it's been rough form for some of the star players, specifically Kesnet. Des talked a lot about how they got to start winning these first engagements. Let's see how this very first one goes here on this bonus.
through the early flash, the cascade, the prowler, excuse me, to make sure there's no one pushing down B.
Yeah, it's really interesting too because that flash that you saw should have actually confirmed that there was nobody back there. They still use the dog, still use the Trailblazer. Now they're not going to be able to actually scale up behind this Viper wall at this point.
And that's exactly where Cloud9 are. The pop flash on the other side, and all three of them are standing there, but they somehow still get every kill.
That's the type of thing that Cloud9 has huge success with, and you can tell they're really confident in it. But in this instance, when they already got some key pieces of util out, you should probably allow this to play slightly differently. Leaves Leaf and Rooney in a tough position.
He's gotten it to be interesting. 45 HP though. Rooney's still close by.
I suggest you move.
Wow.
They invest the Reckoning early here. He has to dance around the pulses of the ult, the Viper utility, and the bullets from Nags too, and it's just way too much to deal with. Rooney's not able to do much more. Crew win the bonus.
I have to say as well, some of the key rounds that Crew have won so far in the series, commend Nags on him. He's been really, really good, stepping up a little bit here.
Wow.
For them, at least in this series, and LCQ in general too, really, really well handled out of Crew. That's the problem with Sky. A lot of times you look for trying to go for those pop flashes like that and you get no value. Everybody was looking at it, but they're able to turn it so easily. And now we're gonna have a slight investment here on this eco for Cloud9. You got 2 Stingers and a Marshall from Jake.
It looks like he's gonna be pushed first. Again, it's the same protocols out from Crew to take B long. Same ones that we saw in the previous round. Jake was taking a little decay damage here to try to find a timing window to deal some damage. Has to take a step back though.
The thing here now, despite the fact that they use that Trailblazer, they still have the Seekers, so even if they want to initiate, they have those tools. It's a different situation entirely. Nice shot from Jake, gets some damage done. He's gonna get healed back up, but he's still one shot to that Marshall with no armor.
This little box here, one of the changes to the map.
Forcing him out with the molly. It missed though.
Just a little short. Gotta hit the weights, bro. They're gonna creep back into this, and you're right, the class still has the Seekers. There they go, invested off the harbor wall too.
How about that molly? I mean, it's just covering everything. They can't get through it.
There's no way for them to get past it. Well done by Jake.
30 seconds left.
He's still with the Marshall, not getting a second tag, not getting a kill. It's been labored out from Crew, but it seems like they should be able to get what they want regardless. Leaf was such a pesky nuisance there.
That got a dink as well.
One enemy remaining.
It's gonna be clean though from Crew eventually. Very well handled. And those are the type of moments where I'm actually expecting Cloud9 to take some map control elsewhere. Leaf, instead, just stuck behind the regular play that they were going for inside of Art. And we'll have a timeout for Cloud9. Really important here that that Viper wall on the attack does not come back out while they clear the back of sight. Otherwise, you can allow the Cloud9 players to really
See you in the next one.
stick up back there. So good job from Crew, cycling the util very well, sharing the dependencies on the wall. And it's a good start from them, 4-0.
It's a great start from them. Forces a timeout early from MCE too. The one question I have as we exit this timeout is it looked like they invested in op in the hands of Leaf.
Yes, he's got it up.
So you wonder where he's going to be posted up, given the fact that Crew have been trying to hit B long the last couple of rounds. But again, you're going to have to deal with the cascades. You're going to have to deal with the high tides. You're going to have to deal with this barrage of utility coming from nanos and from snake bites to still find a sightline to get a kill. It's much easier said than done.
But we do bring back that attention on the possibility of first engagements here. For Leaf, if you can find some aggression with this op right now, that could be really, really key. He's been really posted up in Art for the most of this game so far. And there hasn't really been mid-presence from Crew.
Yeah, that's why I'm surprised to see Leaf there, but I mean, it's clear as day. It seems like this is the round the Crew want to explore this area of the map.
It's passive from him. Not approaching into mid, which definitely could catch Kesnet off guard right here. This angle's tough.
There it is. Kesnet dropped. We'll get a quick update on how the woes have been with Kesnet on these first bloods, or these first duels, but that one's certainly not helping his case. Second cascade used from Melser towards Art.
Kesnet is currently 0-9 of those first engagements. So you asked for the update, and it's dire.
Yeah, it's a tough day.
And that's with 4 crew rounds here. You would expect him in one of those to have gotten the first kill. Leaf gets caught out, though, because of that Trailblazer forcing him back, and the orb is not up in time there for Jake. A little bit of a misplay and miscommunication. Cost Leaf the op. Zeppa picked it up, though.
He is playing close by, exactly where crew are playing towards. Now confirmation as to where they are. You see the Harbor utility go up. Zeppa puts the op down, switches over to the Vandal.
It's really important right now for the Cloud9 players to listen here close, because
30 seconds left.
there's alert coming in here. All the way for Nags. He's close to Zelsis, but the wall is perfect. And they're going to have to pivot. 20 seconds right now. Zelsis can do it all. Rooney still has mollies here as well. All the delay right now.
And that might be what comms. He still has a way to get out. He still has a way to tuck to safety, reposition, live to fight another day, and that day is now, but he's not able to get a single kill. Delays for just a moment, but the spike still goes down. Cloud sweep. Now Cloud9 with 3 members remaining have to try to take this back. Crew have assumed their post-plant positions. They've gotten backside. They have 2 playing there, and Klaus and Melser. How do Cloud9 get back into this? Wait out some of the utility and then decide to pounce and go, but Zeppa gets dealt with execution style. Cloud9 falls. That's a 5th round in a row for crew.
And the crew fans starting to light up a little bit. Hope here. That Pearl might be the same story in reverse. This was a 5v4 for Cloud9. Rounds that they were converting easily on a set. They had over a 90% win rate on those. This time, it's not coming through. Great mid-round from crew. And Zelsis tried to make the hero play. With 8 seconds left, he could have denied that plant. And maybe even gone for more, but the flash gave up his position, so they kind of knew it was coming.
He also had to tank a Viper, Molly, and a Nano, too. So much for him to navigate.
It's been really tough going for Cloud9 to get some of these ults online. Now they have 3 of them. But it's still a shoddy buy. We've known them to invest quite a lot. Look how far out they are, though.
Jake feeling some pressure. He is a Guardian. He was one of the few real differences when it comes to weaponry other than pistols, and it falls. Picked up by Zelsis.
Oh no, he's spammable here.
Yeah.
Ball stunned up. No plant coming in yet for crew, though, so quite a lot of time wasted. Klaus is working the site beautifully, though.
Leaf blades could be everything here. Zappa's gotten one too. The Cove protecting Melser for now. That flash in his face. Does he go? Doesn't have any mobility, really. He has to wait it out. As soon as he looks down for the cloud burst, he gets swung on. Pit in, Leaf down. A 3K for Nags and 6 for crew.
Nags is dominating so far in this one. What a good decision there.
He's 10-0.
Talk about a hero here. On the second map. What a start for the highly criticized player from crew.
Right there.
Just so much room to work in that code, man.
And again, Klaus as well. Got to commend him too. Backside there. Huge vets on this team. He gets the entry there while Kesnet is actually clearing back over towards Art. And we're going to look at more at a little default here from crew. Updraft as well, possible here from Kesnet. No, he's looking for Art. Trying to see above that wall from Zelsis. Look at the exploration here from Zeppa. He's very deep behind. Oh, that was dangerous. He was going for the pick on B, but he exposed himself there to Zeppa.
And he swings back and takes him down.
That is his first kill. Finally coming through in the entire series.
Round 7 of the second map.
A lot has been said about Kesnet. A lot has been said about how this run might have been dubbed Kesnet and Friends up to this point, but now, right now, crew is striking back on the second map without A strong performance from Kesnet.
This might be where the spark starts. This might be where the momentum begins. The Reckoning invested from Cloud9 as it seems like Crew are trying to take this site with Reckoning of their own. You see them pass by one another. Ult still in play. Jake trying to hold them back on his own. And Davies just clotheslines them.
Really good pinch there. And again, a 20-second plant. Lockdown invested. That's really not going to gain them that much, especially with this counter lockdown plays from Davies.
Feels like it's just going to throw a pause on the round for a little bit.
Oh, he's going to try to get half.
He's going to be ahead of it here.
Yeah, he gets
got it to half.
He's detained now, though. They're going to definitely take him out in Art.
There it is, the easiest kill of Meltzer's life. Rooney and Zelsis.
They have a Cove. This Cove could easily get another half here. End the round.
And it seems like that's what he's trying to do, but it instantly gets taken care of. You see the nanos are all set up. Zelsis made an attempt on it. Now he's left alone. He's got a tap. He's gotten it down to 1. I thought the transfer was there, but Nags cleans it up again. I think he still hasn't died. 11-0, 12-0 at this point. 11-0.
That is disgusting. This is disgusting. This entire map is absolutely amazing out of Crew right now. We just saw them get stomped on Ascent. That was their map pick. Now they're going to Cloud9's. And again, we talked a lot about how Crew needed to try to get towards Kesnet's Raze maps. Here, it's not his at all. And they're up 7-0. Cloud9 rarely goes down this hard because they're so good on the ecos. And now we see a situation again where there's in this eco.
You see Rooney tucked with the Stinger. They're already pretty far ahead of this. Leaf is already here. Jake is not far off. Zeppa's not either.
What?
Oh, he got caught back there.
There was a
Molly
double
and a
Molly.
Nano.
Yeah.
And we've seen that combo in that exact same spot before.
Well, that's really different here. As Melzer gets another pick. Because of the back corner here. You want to try to tuck yourself in there, and it's, I mean, just beautiful. To explain that, Rooney was tucked himself all the way up into the back of backhaul there. And the double Molly forces him out, but kills him instantly. It melts with that vulnerable applied.
This has been clinical from Crew. All this talk about Kesnet on the Jet versus the Raze and what it's going to be. But Nags has been the hero for Crew so far.
I mean, this is crazy. Emotionally, I'm getting torn to shreds back and forth. I mean, I thought this was about to be a wipe. I thought, yeah, okay, Crew, you had a good run. But what I just saw, yeah, no chance you come back in this one. And here they are, not just coming back, but
stomping,
doing disgusting things to their opponent.
I believe that's the second flawless round out from Crew that we've had just in this half. And remember, Cloud9 have already used the timeout. They used the timeout when they were down, what, 4 rounds, if I'm not mistaken. So questions to be answered here for MCE. Does he dare call another timeout and let him go the rest of the way? Does he trust his team in this situation, down as big as they are? Seems like he's going to hold on to it for now. Leaf with the op once again. I believe this is the 3rd time he's had that op, and he hasn't found a ton of value.
Well, finally, he's going towards a different position here, up B long.
He'd been A, he'd been mid. First time he's here.
Cascade through, but now that it finds contact, it makes sense for Klaus to actually put down this Trailblazer, and it might actually expire. No, okay. Does spot Leaf. There's a gap in the front of this. There it is from Kesnet.
Second first kill, if I'm not mistaken. And it's on a pivotal player. We're just highlighting the op. Now it just sits harmlessly on the ground. The spam through everything is going right for Crew right now, man.
That's another kill backhaul when you don't expect it, and Jake might even get taken down. Trying to rotate around.
If you hadn't been watching Crew throughout this LCQ because you were lulled to sleep by their regular season performance, I don't know that I blame you. But what we've seen in this first half has been their LCQ run so far. It's been stuff like this. It's been, Kesnet has been popping off, but it's been instances like that where it feels like everything is just going right, where it seems like they can do no wrong.
I look at this early Reckoning as well. Used actually to
30
clear
seconds left.
some of A main there. And Cloud9 is completely committing towards this B side because they already know they want to save the op online.
Blocking fire.
But once again, a gamble that does not pay off. Surprising to see them make it too with the pit there. I would have expected somebody gets ahead of the play over here towards A. And Crew's gonna hunt.
I mean, they've got the money for it. You see it on the right side of your screen there. Everyone sitting comfortable. So yeah, go hunt. Go see what weapons you can take out of the hands of Cloud9, who are already down, who are already beaten. Perhaps you can put him 6 feet under. What can Cloud9 do? I mean, this is so desperate. They need to preserve these weapons. One is already fallen. That's the second. It's all into Jake now, and he's got the big one. Can he stay alive? Can he keep the op? Position given away. Feeling some pressure. Melser up high, and the op is down.
We might.
Don't say it. don't say it. I mean, what a run from Crew, man. And this is some of what we were talking about, right? A couple of rounds ago when we first saw Leaf get that op online, and maybe that's why he hadn't been exploring B. There's just so much that Crew can throw at his lap. That's just so difficult to navigate around. And yeah, he maybe overstays a little bit and tries to hold that cheeky angle with the op, but he decides to go back, tries to re-explore.
Down to 3 Guardians here. Cloud9 even losing faith in the classic buy from them that nets them so much success on these eco rounds. Crew's been I mean, they've forced a lot of eco rounds out of Cloud9 right now.
They've had plenty of chances.
And almost all of them have been really, really nice from Crew every single time, and they're starting to rely a little bit on this B side. Look at this advanced high tide. Normally this is the one that goes all the way in the back, but instead, you're actually seeing them try to separate and segment out the back of halls. Remember how many picks they've been getting there.
Seems like they want to go back mid.
Okay, that's important right there. That flash just pinged Nags. So that indicates to Cloud9 that you're really going to stay over more towards the rest of the B side, and immediately Nags is rotating off in this case. And we do have a deep alarm bot from Rooney, which gives them some confidence that they're not coming through A main. This turret's gonna give early information. But look, the high tide segments everything off sewers and flowers as well. Do they have a follow-up cascade? Yes, they do. They're not using it, looking for picks instead on secret.
Flooding them.
One player currently posted up a dugout. The spike has been planted. Rooney playing around with the Sheriff. There's just so much to look at here. There's so much utility. You see the code. Rooney doesn't even get a chance to fire the weapon. Again, indicative about how dominant of a performance it's been by Crew. Leaf at least keeping a flawless away, but Kesnit, I mean, all of Crew have awoken.
Not a single round here from Cloud9.
One of my creatures, it's a good thing,
After
right?
a 13-4 stomp on Ascent by them, this is what happened. Do I have permission now to speak the words?
I still feel like it's too early. You know, it's like when a perfect game is happening in baseball, you don't talk about it. You just don't say it because you don't want to curse it. We're flirting with it though.
This is crazy out of Crew. And I mean, we're already approaching the territory where the game is over. Despite what happens in the future, it's 10. The best half Cloud9 could get is a 10-2 half. We're into the round. Finally getting aggressive here, but the turret's already positioned from Davies. I'm sure he might have been isolated, but does give up the orb. And because actually about that buy that we had from last round, Cloud9, a lot of Guardians invested. They're still low econ. And they're not going to be able to get an op up in the last round.
I mean, they don't even have armor on Leaf.
It's a glass cannon, Guardian. This is ridiculous.
Note that Zelsis, because he was able to get that orb, he has the Reckoning online, so they've both invested Seekers. Zelsis still with his ult.
Wow. Great job from Zelsis there to actually deny this pinch. The Reckoning's coming in as well. They're going to have to force him to spawn here. Is it going to work out from Crew? Yes! Both kills.
Rooney really, and Leaf were both in such a good spot to trap Crew in with the Reckoning, just causing havoc above them. But they were just pushed over.
Look at this insert too as well. Nags is coming into the backside right here in A main. He's going to be able to pinch these two players on site so easily.
it's all about these fights that are happening on site, and you have to keep an eye on the clock too, because Jake, who's now going to be showing up on this late flank, by the time he arrives, the play's over.
Look at the discipline out of Crew. They could have continued to push into spawn there and actually rotate over towards B. Instead, they wait for that long flank to come in from Davies. Clinical.
Where was this Crew? Where was this Crew in map 1?
And where has Cloud9 gone?
Yeah.
Last round in the half.
It's like they've swapped seats.
Not a single one.
Someone's in defender's spawn.
Makes me think of the conversation that Sean and Baby Bay were having on the desk round, how this map just plays so different from Ascent, and maybe that was it. Maybe that was just like the perfect recipe the Crew needed.
And I'm feeling like a fool in my conversation at the start of this map about how the adjustments for Crew didn't look like they were coming in, since we hadn't seen their Pearl in a while and we're seeing the same comp run from them. Instead, it's looking incredibly well drilled. Even the reaction there. And there's a first pick.
It's interesting too, this cascade is so deep, the one that Zelsis just used, and they filled behind it.
Doug, I have to say it at this point. We are approaching the territory where this is going to be a 13-0 for Crew. Maybe a flawless half. Lockdown's gone out. The crowd is asking for the 13-0.
It certainly has all the makings of it. This will inevitably be the route. No, never mind. Never mind.
There's time here. They're not going to be able to punish Leaf at all, but he gets stunned up with this too. Time running down.
2 back there. You see the first
Leaf
nano
has
has been
knives.
used.
Oh, what a flash.
Flash out from Klaus. They're both right next to each other. Leaf getting one with the blades, the second not falling. And that's 12 for Crew. My goodness, we thought we saw a stomp on Ascent. This is a proper beating.
We have seen
One last question.
many stomps, but we've only seen one 13-0 here in the Americas League. For it to come in the upper bracket final potentially is just crazy. For it to come from a team who is down 0-8 in the regular season, didn't win a single series this year. Now here.
Against Cloud9, tournament favorites. Outrageous. I have no idea what to say. Golden Boy, take it away.
You have no idea what to say. What the hell do you think I have to say? None of this makes any sense. 12-0. Crew's all over. Cloud9 on Pearl. On Pearl.
My groupium tanks are just literally blasting. I can't even feel my face right now.
I was a little worried after like that Ascent map, because, you know, like Crew has had way worse losses. Like that diffuse loss that they had in the previous series where they won against Furia. Like, that was way more taxing on the mental, and they came back from that. But I was worried that they didn't win enough rounds to like get warmed up or anything, because it just looked like they weren't even aiming.
Yeah, well,
that first map.
They definitely won rounds here.
And dude, this is insane. I mean,
yeah, I mean, they got the momentum right away, right? I mean, they win the pistol again, which, all right, they won the pistol on the first map, so I wasn't sold yet. And then they win the bonus, so all right, now we're cooking with fire. And they win the first gun round, and then from there it's like, all right, they are back. Momentum is swinging with them, and it wasn't even like he started heating up. Everybody just went nuclear.
Nags was insane. That round he dropped the pit in the 2-on-2 where Leaf literally looked unstoppable with the Blade Storm, and he pops out of the pit as it's forming to kill the Sky, then goes back in and takes out Leaf. Oh my God, this is what I thought might have happened potentially, because there was no trap plays, right? Like it's an open map, and they're able to take these duels on Pearl. And my God, did they put Cloud9 down all game.
Yeah, not only did they put them down, but now you have to start worrying if you're Cloud9, because Kesnet is just getting more and more time to warm up now. And once he gets going, you know it's going to be a hard series for you. So,
yeah, I mean, if Kesnet activates and Nag's the unlikely hero. There is no player in the LCQ that I think we've said their name less. I'm going to be honest. And when they needed him most, Jake unfortunately killed him once, but other than that, he had 0 deaths since round 11.
Not all heroes wear capes. Sometimes they just use fart gas. In any case, so it's 12-0. You might see us in a little bit. You might not. This game, who knows? Let's send it back over to Tagabala.
I'm still trying to figure out what Golden Boy was talking about, man. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Let's refocus.
I don't know that there's gonna be much to focus on at this point.
The LATAM audience are cheering it right now. 13-0.
Oh, yeah, a little English sprinkled in there too. But the crowd asking for it.
They're going for it. Aggressive. Crew has it on their mind too. They're gonna get a flank off on Cloud9 right now. The players are rotating over towards A while the one Harbor is investigating what's going on B. He hears him now running back. Melzer gets a free kill here.
Unless Jake does something about it. He does. Problem is, it's not Nags. Final boss is still up. Look at the aggressive position that they've taken. Again, 2 members down for Cloud9, just like that.
The time is ticking though. They got it clear. Oh, flash up.
Dude, what on earth did we just watch?
And somehow it's a 3v2. Kesna gets it. 3v1 Leaf to hold off the 13-0.
To avoid being on the wrong side of history, he's gotten into a 1v1, 15 HP left.
There's no time right now for Klaus. He has to make a play.
He's got to push it. Oh, he decides to go back. He decides to go back, and Leaf's just playing with him. Can he get the kill? Oh, 13. Oh, avoided. And the Red Bull clutch for Leaf.
Ending.
They absolutely flirted with disaster, didn't they?
Enemy remain.
Leaf, a big 1v3. But I gotta think of the Russell Westbrook scores 3. Crucial 3-pointer down 42 points. That's all I think of. That's all I think of.
Right, well, we've extended this just a little bit longer. We'll see how long this lasts, though. I mean, crew are patient with it, too. They're not forcing. They're just sticking to pistols. Given the lead that they have, they decide they want to play this out the slow way, the cautious way. And it seems like Cloud9 are going to be able to get down onto B, get the spike down.
Spike planted.
There was tension in the air at the beginning of that half to see if it could happen. Now we're just in this waiting pattern to see when crew can close this out. See if they can do some damage here on this eco of their own. Haven't been in this position much this game.
This looks like it's going to be pretty clean out from Cloud9, all things considered. Nag's the only one alive, and he's been good, but I don't know about 1v4 good with the Sheriff.
All targets clear.
Second round for Cloud9. See, man, this is why we don't talk about things like 13-0s.
Take them out before they
Why?
even pull them.
Because then Leaf pulls off a 1v3 in the pistol, and it's
I'm happy. No, that's great. What are you talking about?
Nags has already died 2 more times. I mean, what is this?
What do you? It's not my fault. I just talk about the situation at hand.
See what the buy looks like for crew. Yep, full rifles, just light armor on Nags. But full armor the rest of the way. You see Kesnet already getting pushed off of that angle.
Yeah, Flash gives weird information though. And this is what Wyatt, Sean, everybody was talking about. Baby Bay talking about how you don't want to give time for Kesnet to actually heat up. He's going for more. That's a little overcooked, but
It looked like he was just going for the jugular there.
that Molly actually prevents Leaf from following up. What is that shot? Maybe it's Leaf who's got to heat up.
And Melzer just walked into the molly too. Tried to play with a really small timing window.
Toxins going up.
3v3. All members of crew are healthy, except for Klaus. Now he's dead. And an early reckoning. Jake is very weak here, just 19 HP, and the spike ticks away. Dave, he's trying to keep them back. You see Nags is repositioned. He's going to try to get an angle up on Heaven. But there are 2 members from Cloud9 backside. There's really nothing he can do from that angle. So through all of that time that was invested in him repositioning it all, so it's all for naught.
It's a save. Reluctant cheers in the crowd for Cloud9's attempt here at extending this game as long as possible. Waiting now to see exactly what Crew is going to decide to do after losing that bonus. These are the sort of situations where you could definitely start to get rolled on a little bit and losing any sort of momentum here. But whether or not they close out, or when they do, the longer this goes, the farther away you get from that sense of ecstasy you would have had after winning a 13-0 map. And after getting dominated in that first map, that would have been a complete shift on both sides, right? Completely crumpled mental for Cloud9 and an absolutely elated Crew. But look at that updraft with the dog as well coming in. That is disgusting from casting it through the window.
That was so freaking cool. But Leaf just cleans him back up. We're gonna have a filthy fight out in Art here as you see the crossfire set up and Cloud9 walks away victorious.
I mean, the last 3 rounds, it felt like Kesnet does something really nice to get an early entry, and then Leaf just absolutely blows up on the rest of his team.
You see the position from Jake as Nags just carefully and quietly passes by. Doesn't realize he's walking into what is a bit of a trap. The 3 members of Cloud9 have him entirely surrounded. And he has literally no knowledge of where they might be.
Yep.
Takes down Leaf.
Look at Jake flanking too. He's got the safety valve here.
Yeah. He's been sitting there for so long, and as Nags shows himself, that's the moment where Jake decides to strike. 4 rounds in a row here for Cloud9.
And Leaf as well. I mean, every round, that's like multiple 3Ks in a row. Finally gonna get a timeout from Crew. Look at this fight in here. Leaf founds the first entry, and then he's able to actually clean up the players who are swinging wide on the rest of his teammates. The way those angles broke up for him, really nice, favorable. And this is one of those instances that I actually fully believe as a coach, and in some of these instances, you just leave your team to close out this match. But with 4 rounds in a row, with Leaf heating up, with actually not real success on any of these rounds in terms of even making it close, other than the pistol, you need to start to think about the strategy here. You really need to start to focus on how you can make one adjustment that closes this out.
Well, and the nice thing is, too, for Adam, the head coach of Crew, he still has 2 timeouts to play with. He uses this one. It's early. Hey, let's settle. Let's make sure everything's fine. And in case things get real hairy, he still has another one. Potentially a 3rd, depending on if MCE decides to invest one of his. So pretty safe runway for Crew here if they want to close out Pearl.
It's been a while. It's the same situation as Cloud9 had, right? Where they were struggling on getting any of these ults up on that defensive side early on in the half. Could have swung some things, but the key ones for Crew are just not there. The KJ ult, the Harbor ult, those things are really crucial.
Early Harbor wall up from Meltzer and the flash from Clouds to confirm that there's no one pushing mid. There's also passive info from Rooney's turret. So because of that, they can focus on the extremities of the map.
Yeah, somebody has to break this turret in mid if you're gonna go for this high tide. Otherwise, it just gets free information that nothing is happening. And I do like what Crew did there to try to disrupt some sort of plan here. Trailblazer checks on Leaf. No pressure down below. What a swing. And that is, I mean, you just took down the most important player. What a play from Nags. And the confidence to go for that is crazy high.
I mean, after the first half that he had, I don't know that I blame him. Yeah, he's been quiet the last 4 rounds, but
both Seekers popped right now, and a lot of them went towards that A side, but they were very close to it, so I don't think you expect many more. Meanwhile, the Seeker is coming all the way towards this B side for Crew from Klaus.
I mean, even the timing on Crew's utility here, Meltzer gets the high tide up right before the Viper wall goes down. So there's no gap in coverage. But now Cloud9 using some of their own.
I like this from Zelsis, a very shallow wall, so that he could potentially get this plant down with 25 seconds is really important. Cove can be used. Followed up high Cascade as well, so they could push backside.
Against the plan in an unconventional position, Meltzer looking to get the second, somehow does. This might be it.
This is it.
Yeah, they finally put them away.
All you gotta do is take down one singular Leaf.
Oh. All right. Rudy made it exciting at the end there, but a little labored. Crew finally take down Cloud9 on Pearl. But it was now without flirting with history for a little while first.
And they've been doing that the entire LCQ run. I mean, this is unheard of in so many different instances. Whether it's esports or regular sports. A team that goes completely winless in a regular season. Challenging here. Almost 13-0ing. One of the best teams in Americas, not even just the LCQ, in Americas for sure.
Yeah, there really is no comparison that I can think of that is quite like that.
No, I mean, it doesn't happen. The LCQ is a very unique format, right? Where you get some of the teams, some of the worst possible teams, and you give them another chance. And this is crazy. I mean, they match. At the end of the day, they match the Ascent domination from Cloud9 in terms of score, but this one was definitely a bigger blow mentally to Cloud9. And you can tell, Leaf is pissed off. I'm really curious how the next map is going to go on Haven, because it's going to be so much fun to watch.
I mean, you can't imagine what MCE is saying right now. Who knows? It should be a good time. Final map on the other side of this break. It all ends on Haven. We'll be right back.